Okay, recording has started. Great. So yeah, so in summary, so yeah, so in summary, there are two facets to our Uttama Bhakti. One is what is our intention? That's what we are calling a Shraddha. Okay. And is our intention aligned with the definition, which is this definition, which is our Uttama Bhakti definition, um, Anya Bhilashita Sunyam. Okay, so we basically again went back to the Anya Bhilashita Sunyam, and then we try to analyze, is our intention, is like Krishna is our supreme, is that what we always aspire for, and we don't aspire for any karma or jnana which is going to cover it, and is it favorable for Krishna, is that all, this is the only thing which we would like to do. If everything is like all the constraint which is in our life, right, which is pulling us, I want, but still is that my intention? So we analyze that part, right? So that is the part. um, and of course we went on the mixed bhakti, what is mixed bhakti, and we talked whether anybody of us is doing mixed bhakti, and there were folks who thought that yes, we might be doing mixed bhakti because there are desires, right? But then we went to the definition. This is the classic definition from Srimad Bhagavatam. We analyzed that and we did draw the parallel between the Rupa Goswami Uttama Bhakti definition to the Srimad Bhagavatam definition, and we draw the parallel, and from there, and you see the parallel, and you will find in the recording, and we looked into, is that aligned with our intention? Is that what we are looking for? Okay, so that's one part. The other part, we acknowledged that there is a conditioning. Doesn't matter what our intention. If we are born, then we have some conditioning, right? Some people behave like this, some people get angry, some people are more desirable of wealth, some people want some fame. It's subtle, very subtle, right? This may not be, we can't even see it, but over time, all of us are going to see it. Believe it. That's going to happen. If you're not seeing it, we are going to see it because we have it. Okay. Otherwise, we wouldn't be born as a human right now. So we analyze that with this conditioning, these are the reason why we have anarthas. And then we went to the Bhagavad Gita slok. Okay, we went to the Bhagavad Gita and we started giving the evidence after evidence. Okay, that Bhagavad Gita is acknowledging that if we are born, it seems that sometimes we are forced to do the things even though we don't want to do it. Right? It seems that somebody is forcing us. So Bhagavad Gita is acknowledging that if we are born, then we will have fault, which is our anarthas. So there is acknowledgement. So now we go back to the definition and say that, okay, because they in the definition we have seen iti, right? ITI, right? So there we analyze that Rupa Goswami definition is acknowledging that when we are doing the practice of the pure bhakti, we will have the anarthas. So it is accounting for that. And with that anartha, we are approaching and trying to do the bhakti. Okay. And that was our analysis, right? That so this it is accounting it. So as long as our intention, and this is that's the test. We should not think that, oh, I think I am doing Atma Bhakti. It's not about think. It is are we, right? And that's where we have to be really honest to us and look into the facets. So just go back to the recording, hear it, and just analyze that are we doing the Uttama Bhakti? If not, analyze, okay, which part I am not doing it. Let's try to go and fix it. Right? It's not that is lost. No, the purpose of this class is for us to determine where we are and then go and take the corrective action. All right. So this is all again, I am trying to summarize the whole class in 5 minutes. Hope it makes sense. Okay, it will be a good class for anybody who hasn't heard to understand where we are in our journey. Does it make sense,
Yes,
Mataji?
Prabhu.
Yeah.
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, I'll review the recording anyway. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. All right. So today, any question before we move to the chapter 1? Everyone's good? Ready to go? Yes, I am. So the way I'm going to do it, I have collected all the verses from Bhakti-rasamrita-sindhu Chapter 1. Okay, so the first 12 verses were in introduction. That's what formed the basis of the definition of Uttama Bhakti. And the Chapter 1, and this is uh, uh, mapped to the chapter 1 of NOD. So chapter 1 of NOD is mapped to verse 13 to verse 43 of chapter 1 of Bhakti-rasamrita-sindhu. All right. So you'll see that there is on the left, there is a Sanskrit. On the right, there is a translation. Okay. So what the plan is, we will go and read this translation so that we can understand along with some of the aspect of the purport in the commentary what it was. So we are going to do that first, and then we will go and look into that from the thematic side. Okay, this talks about the sixth quality of the Uttama Bhakti. So we will go and look from the thematic angle. Okay, we will do some analysis in that thematic angle. Okay, and then there is some more analysis. So we again, this part thematic we will do. Here the bottom part is something we'll pick and choose, right? Where we need to focus more, then we'll read, otherwise skip. Okay, the goal is we want to do the detailed study, yet at the same time I'm just trying to take where the liberty to skip some section, which I find that is something you can read it through the chapter directly. Okay, so that's the plan, because I want to be quick and still not rush. So that will be a delicate balance. When you think that something, if you feel that no Prabhu, we should spend a little bit more time and I would love to read more, then I'll take your cue and we will read those section also, which I I was planning initially to skip. Is that okay?
That's
And this
perfect.
we'll be doing for each chapter. Okay, so there are 19 chapter. We'll be doing this for each chapter. The goal is if every week, if we have 2 classes and if we are able to complete 1 chapter per week, that would be awesome. That's the goal. All right. So let's see how we do. And this is just a plan. Last time when I taught this, we took, I think, 40 classes something, right? 40 classes of 2 hours each. I'm just trying to see that if we can do anything better. Okay, so and there you'll see that there's a section, so then there's a related topic, and then there's the other section, and then you'll see the verses. So Shubhada, right? So there's all the verses for Shubhada, right? And then we do the analysis on the Shubhada, right? So that's how I have divided. I have gone to each of those section and divided into uh, chunks. So that is all related, which is all going together. And then there are some additional things which I took from the some other books, and I have pasted it here. Okay, cool. So this is the our structure of the class which we'll be following from chapter 1 to chapter 19. All right. Okay. So this is where I will make it little bigger for you. We won't read the Sanskrit. Okay, we won't read the Sanskrit. We will read the English translation. So I will ask one person to go and keep reading. So this is 15 to 26. So maybe 2 devotees they can do it. Um, so so let's do 15 to 21, and then other devotee can do from 22 to 26. Okay. So one devotee, anybody who would like to go first, read the English translation and the small meaning just underneath it. It's all the English basically in each of the section.
I'll do it.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, translation. This is also stated in the 3rd canto. These are the characteristics of transcendental loving service to Purushottama, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is without other desires that it is not contaminated by karma or jnana. In this type of bhakti, my devotees do not accept salokya, sharsti, sarupya, samipya, or oneness with me, even if I offer these liberations in preference to serving me. This is called Bhakti Yoga, and it is declared as the highest object of human pursuit. Srimad
Okay.
Bhagavatam, Canto 3.
And so okay, and so here what did we? So just try to summarize in one line. So what this verse is talking about?
So this verse is talking about the devotees of the Supreme Lord do not accept any of the liberations that could be offered to them by Krishna, but only desire to offer him Uttama Bhakti.
Perfect, perfect. Yes. So it talks about all the 5 different kind of a liberation. It's just the name, and they say that devotee is only looking for the Uttama Bhakti. Yes, Mataji, continue, please.
Okay. The description of the excellence of the devotee in the above verse amounts to describing the characteristics of bhakti by revealing its purity. The unique characteristics of bhakti are its ability to destroy suffering, its bestowal of auspiciousness, its disregard for liberation, its rarity of attachment, its manifestation of concentrated bliss, and its ability to attract Krishna.
Okay. So here, what do we understand? What it is
Um,
talking about?
so it's talking about this devotion's the purest form of devotion that is offered, that can be offered, and based off of our readings, you can only offer this type by to Krishna. But then it has unique characteristics, which are it destroys suffering, it's all auspicious, it's without selfish desire, so selfless. It's rare to attain, and then it attracts Krishna.
Yeah. So basically, 6 characteristic. So 6 characteristic. There are 6 characteristic. When anybody who's doing the pure bhakti, these are the things which will happen. Its ability to destroy suffering. So as people are getting pure, the devotee, not I should call say people, that's the wrong word. As devotees are getting approaching the purity, what we'll see its ability, the bhakti is able to destroy the suffering due to our past sin. Okay, so that's the first thing will happen. Then the second will start showing auspiciousness, bestowal of auspiciousness, that's Shubhada. Okay, then the third will happen is disregard for liberation. Liberation is, it says, compared to like a small dot with the humongous ocean. So that's what how people will be, the devotee will be feeling rejuvenated by the bhakti. And it's very rare that anybody will be able to attain this purity. So what we are trying is for the highest thing. It's pretty rare. We should feel that we are amongst those lucky practitioner who are able to see that this is the most precious jewel of all the yoga system, and we are practicing it. And it's manifestation of concentrated bliss. So again, the level of bliss is just uncomparable, and it's the ability to attract Krishna. So this is when we talk about, right, when we are chanting right now, we don't have the taste, but we can try, because there is the inner gate which Krishna opens. He comes and pushes it open. So from outside we cannot pull and open it, right? We can just keep chanting, we are doing our seva, we are sitting near the last door waiting that somehow the door will open, and the only way to door to open is from inside. So Krishna, when it attracts Krishna, when Krishna sees, oh, Bri Mataji is doing such amazing bhakti, he will come one day, he will come and open the door like that, and he will hold the hand of Bri Mataji and take her inside. Thus will attract Krishna's bhakti, attract Krishna. Yes, Mataji, go ahead.
The first topic, its ability to destroy all sufferings, will be discussed. Suffering is threefold: sinful reaction, the seed of sin, and ignorance. First, sinful reactions will be discussed. There are 2 types of sinful reactions: effects and sinful acts. Effects which are to be experienced in the future lives are aprarabdha, and the effects which are to be experienced in this lifetime, which is prarabdha.
Yeah, it's prarabdha. So basically prarabdha, and then the one which will be coming later, right? So we will go and do a little deep dive. We'll see what it is, right? So our sins are divided into multiple. Like actually, there are 4 different facets. One of the acharyas have done. Um, it says bija, kuta, prarabdha, and aprarabdha. Aprarabdha, which hasn't fructified yet. It's going to come in the future. So here it is talking about aprarabdha, so this is dividing into twofold. Suffering is threefold. Is telling, okay, the seed of sin and ignorance. Okay, is saying the seed, the intensity, our intention to go and sin, right? And then while we have done the sin, something is going to fructify later in the future. It's called aprarabdha, and the one which we are going through right now is called prarabdha. So that's what he's talking about. Go ahead, Mataji.
Here's an example of destroying all aparata reactions from the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. My dear Uttava, devotional service and relationship with me is like a blazing fire and can burn to ashes all the fuel of sinful activities supplied to it.
So it is a reference. He's saying that Rupa Goswami is telling us, I'm not just saying that. He's telling that here's a reference I'm providing for you. Okay? Yes, go ahead, Mataji.
The proof of destroying paradha reaction from the third canto of Bhagavatam. To say nothing of spiritual advancement of persons who see the Supreme Person face to face, even a person born in a family of dog eaters immediately becomes eligible to perform Vedic sacrifices if he once utters the holy name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead or chants about him, hears about his pastimes, offers him obeisances, or even remembers him.
Right. So see, even what is telling, even the person who has chanted only once with attention, they have reached the Vaishnava platform basically. Right? And so even the proof, so the first verse is talks about, Mataji, what is talks about is destruction of what kind of sin?
The fuel, so the desire of, well, not desire, the consequences, fuel.
The one which has not been even fructified, the one which is going to happen in the, so I'm going to get the reaction of all, yes, so it's going to burn that, right? So like a blazing fire, and that's from Srimad Bhagavatam. And then in this, what it is talking about, the burning of what?
Of the current.
Correct. Yeah, prarabdha is current. So it's prarabdha. Prarabdha. So it's telling it will even destroy our current one. So it's telling that even that is to say nothing of the spiritual advancement of person who see the supreme face to even a person born in family of dog eaters immediately becomes eligible to perform Vedic sacrifice. So from, because Krishna is telling, means it is Uddhava in this so in spiritual advancement. If one utters the holy name of Supreme Personality of Godhead, I don't know who is saying to who, holy name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or chants about him, the hears about his pastime, offer him obeisances, or even remembers him. So anybody can become eligible to do the bhakti. That, because if I'm able to do the bhaktis, means that my sins are burning, which is a proof that my current sins are burning. That's the reason I'm able to do bhakti. Otherwise, I can't even do the bhakti if that is not possible. So the name is so powerful. All right. Any other devotee who would like to read from 22 to 26?
I can read, Prabhu.
Go ahead, Mataji.
I just have a doubt. Like,
Sure.
so you said current was, the sins going to happen are burnt, but how about, because it's written prarabdha and aprarabdha, right? So
Hmm.
both past sins as well as the uh, sins going to happen, both, or it's just the current one?
So it says that, so in this verse 18, 19, it says both. Okay. Then
Okay.
in 20, it is giving the example that how the aprarabdha, when Rupa Goswami is saying aprarabdha will be burnt, he's bringing the words from the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is said by which is being told to Uddhava, right? That how aprarabdha, it like a fire, it will be burnt. So there is a, that it is giving a citation that the future will be burnt, the future sin will be burnt. And then for the current sin, which is the prarabdha, again the reference from the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is telling that even the dog eaters, right, a person born in a very family of a dog eaters are eligible to practice bhakti and see Krishna face to face, right? And that is a proof that, because if I have done sin, I cannot approach something. But in bhakti, there is no qualification. As soon as one start doing the bhakti, they become eligible to start approaching the supreme. So it is being cited by Rupa Goswami to show that it will burn our even prarabdha, the sin
Mm.
which is in progress right now.
Okay.
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 Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yes,
Yeah.
Mataji. Yeah, and we'll do more, and as we'll in the thematic, we'll read more. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Translation. It was understood that the low birth of the dog eater is the cause of his disqualification for performing sacrifices. The sinful reaction by which he attains such low birth in this life is called the prarabdha sin.
Keep going.
Jeev Goswami.
Yes,
What
Mataji.
should be understood from the words immediate destruction of sinful reactions in this life, which have caused bad birth, is that there is destruction of the sufferings to be experienced in this life caused by the bad birth through the action of bhakti. Thus, this is suitable example to illustrate the topic destruction of all prarabdha karmas. In a similar manner, it is said, Ma Vasudeva Bhaktanam Ashubham Vidyate Kvachit Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadir Bhayam Vyapi Upajayate. There is no sin at all in the devotees of Vasudeva. Birth, death, old age, and disease do not give fear to them. Vishnu Sahasranama Stotra. Shall I keep reading, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mata. Yes, yes. Keep. And this is VCT means uh, Haribol. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur.
Okay,
Okay,
sure.
Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Okay, that's his commentary. Yeah.
However, happiness and distress are also seen in the devotee, even with the destruction of all the prarabdha karmas. Happiness is one of the incidental results of practicing bhakti. It is said, Hari Bhakti Maha Devyaha Sarva Mukti Adi Siddhaya Bhaktyascha Chadbhutasyascheti Kavat Anudrutaha. All the perfections, such as liberation and wondrous enjoyments, pursue the great goddess of devotion to the Lord like maid servants. Narad Pancharatra. The distress experienced by the devotee is sometimes given by the Lord, not karma. Asa, as, asyaham anugraha nami harishye harisye tad dhanam शनैः ततो धनं त्यजन्ति asya swajana dukhitam. If I especially favor someone, I gradually deprive him of his wealth. Then the relatives and friends of such a poverty stricken man abandon him. In this way, he suffers one distress after another. Sometimes, however, the suffering is a result of offense to the Vaishnavas.
Okay, Mataji. So here, what did we understand by verse 22? What Rupa Goswami is saying, and what it, and then how what Jiva Goswami and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has given the commentary also, right? To say that what it means.
Yes, Prabhuji. What I could understand is like even though being a dog eater is a low birth, even having that disqualification is like, that particular sinful reaction is being burned uh, as a example as prarabdha sin. And so for Lord Vishnu or Vasudeva, there is, for the devotees of him, there is no uh, they don't have the sins like birth, death, old age, or disease given to them, other than what if the Lord wants to give them, distress. As per what Vishwanath Chakrathi Thakur is explaining, like if Lord wants to give them distress, he will be, having distress. I mean, they can have happiness or distress based on how Lord wants them to have.
Yeah, so basically, the key point is what it's telling that even though it is saying that, hey, the distress is destroyed and you will be happy, but what we see, we observe that devotees who are serious practitioner, they are going through the trouble in their life. So it makes a question: how do I correlate with what Jiv Goswami is writing and what I'm observing? I am seeing devotees suffering, while Jiv Goswami is telling through the reference that it gets burned. Then where the suffering is coming from? And for that, Jiv Goswami and Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur is giving the meaning that those so-called suffering, once anybody starts practicing the devotional service, any suffering what we see, it might be coming as a gift from Krishna as a test for us, right? To just check ourselves, right? So it is not given by the Maya Devi, it is given by Krishna himself, right? So that's what is being called out here. And then um, so but sometimes it's saying that sometimes, however, the suffering is a result of offense. So so if we see a devotee suffering while they are doing a sincere practice, it may be not be if I'm not doing a sincere practice, if I'm not doing the Uttama Bhakti, then I'll be still coming under the purview of Maya Devi. Okay, so that's number one. But if I am practicing bhakti and still I'm suffering, then there can be two causes. One is Krishna himself is intervening and he's sending the misery in my way so that I can grow and learn, right? So that's one. Or I might be committing offense to the other Vaishnava and it is coming as a result of that. Okay, so the offenses to the Vaishnava we should be very careful about. Okay, does it make sense, Mataji? Yeah. Okay, read
Yes,
23, Mataji. Yeah.
translation. Also in the Padma Puran, it is said, for those engaged in bhakti to Vishnu, step by step the prarabdha, kuta, bija, and prarabdha karmas are destroyed. Jeev Goswami. Palonmukham, approaching fruition, means prarabdha karma, literally commenced karma, the sinful reaction presently being experienced in this life as happiness and suffering. Bija means that the reaction which is about to become prarabdha, about to be experienced, and is in the form of impressions. Kuta refers to sinful reactions which are about to become bija. Aprarabdha phalam means those reactions which are not prarabdha, they are not to be experienced in this life at all, but which cause effects in the form of kuta, bija, and prarabdha.
Okay, so I suppose
Translation.
so. This is pretty clear to everybody, right? So all our karma can be divided into four parts: aprarabdha, prarabdha, khuta, bija. Okay, and so if I go backward, so the one which I am suffering is prarabdha karma. Then what's going to follow is bija, which hasn't fructified, but is going to fructify very soon, and it will become prarabdha very soon in the future. Okay, so the bija is following the prarabdha. What is following the bija is khuta. Okay, so that hasn't even become a bija, means seed. It hasn't become a seed yet. So the khuta is going to become little later as seed. And then what is the very far, but it still is going to follow it, is the aprarabdha. Aprarabdha, most probably people are not going to experience in this life. It will be coming in the following life. So all these four and the references from Padma Puran, that all these four gets burned. All this get burnt. Go ahead, Mataji, 24.
An illustration of bhakti destroying the seed of sin, namely material desires, is found in the sixth canto. Although one may neutralize the reactions of sinful life through austerity, charity, vows, and other such methods, these pious activities cannot uproot the material desires in one's heart. However, if one serves the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is immediately freed from all such contaminations.
Mm. Right. So it is. So here, what this is talking about, it's telling that sometimes some of the reaction can be neutralized through the other method, austerity, charities, vows, and other things, right? But these pious activities cannot uproot the material desire in one's heart. So the intention to go and sin. So if so, there are methods where one can go and take the corrective action what I have committed in the past, right? By using some methods and rituals. But the desire to commit the sin, nobody can remove that. Only bhakti can do that. Because when one is serving the lotus feet of the personality of to the personality of Godhead, he comes sitting within our heart as Paramatma. He takes away that intention to do the sin. So no other process can claim this. And this is written in Srimad Bhagavatam. Very powerful. Go ahead, Mataji, 25.
Next, Bhakti's ability to destroy avidya is illustrated. The devotees, by actions of service to the toes of the lotus feet of the Lord, can very easily overcome the knot of ignorance, carrying unlimited impressions of karma, tied tightly by action. Because this is very difficult, the empty minded non devotees, the jnanis and yogis, although trying to stop the flow of sense activities, cannot do so. Therefore, you are advised to engage in the devotional service of Krishna, the son of Vasudeva.
So now it is talking about the avidya. And what is avidya?
Not knowing or ignorance, not knowing what to do.
Yeah, ignorance or yeah, thinking that I know something, but I'm it's not going to work, right? So avidya, anything which is not spiritually connected is called avidya. Okay. And so, Jeev Goswami, you can skip all the Sanskrit and you can just read the English.
Yeah, sure, Prabhu. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, supersoul in everyone's heart and benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service on to Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. As soon as Nashtiki Bhakti is established in the heart, the effects of nature's modes of passion and ignorance, such as lust, desire, and hankering, disappear from the heart. Then the devotee is established in goodness and he becomes completely happy. Thus, established in the mode of unalloyed goodness, the man whose mind has been enlivened by contact with devotional service to the Lord gains positive scientific knowledge of of the personality of Godhead in the stage of liberation from all material association. Thus, the knot in the heart is pierced and all the misgivings are cut to pieces. The chain of fruitive actions is terminated when one sees the Lord who is Atma.
So Shiva Prabhu, do you remember
Yes,
where
Prabhuji.
wh-
Mangalarti.
Mangalarti? Yes, every day we read it.
7.1.
7.1 purport. Okay. So Prabhupada is quoting in his purport about this. How the intention, they very scientifically presented how the intention to do the sin is getting destroyed, right? Step by step, right? You see, like by regular attendance in classes, by rendering service to a pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed. And then when it's getting destroyed, then the Supreme Personality start appearing in our heart. And then he takes our intention, bad intentions away. And then we get completely fixed. Okay. So the devotee rely on the mercy of the Lord to really get the intention out. And once the intention is out, then yeah, a devotee is pure. All right, last verse in this.
Translation Padma Purana says the following: As the forest fire burns up a female snake demon, supreme devotion to the Lord quickly burns up avidya completely by the knowledge vidya which accompanies bhakti.
Cool. Okay, so there are 6 quality of bhakti. Okay, so this chapter begins with Lord Kapila Dev stating that the pure devotee never aspires selfishly, even for the 5 kinds of liberation. So that's Canto 3 is coming from a Lord Kapil Dev. Okay, so he's preaching to Mother Devahuti. And then Srila Prabhupada further explains in the above statement by Kapila from Srimad Bhagavatam, the actual position of a pure devotee is described, and then the primary characteristic is defined. So these are the 6 characteristic which was listed in 17th verse, and so the Sanskrit is Klesaghni, Klesaghni. So it's not Klesha Agni. Even Amarendra Prabhu was saying that Gni is that destruction. So the Klesa, the suffering, is being destroyed. So that's the characteristic number 1. Next characteristic is Shubhada. Okay, Shubhada is the bestowal of auspiciousness. Then third is Moksha Laghuta Krita, this regard for liberation. And Sudurlava is reality of attainment. Sandar Sandaranda Visheshatma. Sandar Ananda Visheshatma is
Chandrananda.
is manifestation of concentrated bliss, and Sri Krishna Akarshani is ability to attract Krishna. So this is, if you'll be doing the writing the test, these are the things you should remember, memorize. This gets like, okay, what are the 6 characteristics? So Klesaghni, Shubhda, Moksha Lagutkrita, Sudurlabha, Sanan Anand, Sandar Anand Vishesh Atma, and Sri Krishna Akarshani. Okay, and then it is going into each quality. Kleshagni, right? What is Kleshagni? Destruction of suffering. So how it is happening? So see, this is avidya. Avidya is the cause of the beginning which leads to us suffering. What happens? The avidya gets converted into our desire. Oh, now I want something for me. It is coming from the root avidya, because I'm not thinking that, everything I should do for the pleasure of Krishna, not for my own pleasure. So that is leading to bija, and that material desire is then leading to sinful act, and that sinful act is the one which is causing us suffering. Okay, so this is the steps which has been mentioned here. And then papam, the sinful action, can be divided into 2 big categories: aprarabdha, which is unmanifested reaction, and prarabdha, which is manifested. So 2 big categories, and then these 2 big categories are further shown here for you. So aprarabdha, so unmanifested reaction is going to be prarabdha, which is direct physical or emotional suffering, and aprarabdha is, and just it is the letter hasn't come properly. In
Bija,
the,
I think it's.
what, Mataji?
I think it is Bija, Prabhu,
No,
because
it's not.
aprarabdha,
But yes, it's starting
prarabdha
with
is
K.
there,
It's
kutam.
starting with K, right? It's starting with K. So
Uh,
indirect suffering by increased sinful activity. Um, so you could just hold on. Papam. So aprarabdha, prarabdha, and then taking the papam is saying aprarabdha 1, aprarabdha 2. Okay. So sin unmanifested. Okay, so both are unmanifest, and one will be leading to prarabdha. And okay, so this aprarabdha will ultimately is going to get converted into the prarabdha. So it hasn't fructified yet, but it's going to fructify. That's what is showing you, right? And then this is probably kuta, which is indirect suffering by increased sinful proclivity. So my propensity to do sin is increasing, and that is going to lead to me ultimately doing the suffering. So the first, what this so aprarabdha is getting converted into 2 aspects. One is the prarabdha, which is I am going to suffer, okay, and other will increase my proclivity to go and sin more, right? So that's what is going to do. So both is coming from the aprarabdha. Uh, and here you see, for example, if one engages in illicit sex, he receives 2 types of reaction. One type creates some direct physical or emotional suffering. The other types creates indirect suffering by exacerbating his proclivity for sex. thereby increasing sexual desires, impelling future illicit sex, and entangling him in a karmic cycle of suffering. So this example is very well is defining what is being depicted in the diagram. Make sense? Right? And when sinful desire increases, sinful activity, so it's automatically. So basically, it is causing the increase in my desire to sin. So that's the reason it's going to create more and more, and this is a perpetual cycle. It is a self perpetuating cycle. The more one tries to satisfy his desire, the stronger they become. The desire becomes stronger. To break this cycle of bondage, one must tolerate sinful desires and not endeavor to fulfill them. Not being reinforced by unmanifest reaction, they will gradually dissipate and leave the heart forever. Okay, and this is 7.28 from Bhagavad Gita. It is answering the question how maintaining the pious life leads to acceleration in bhakti. So Krishna explains in this principle in the Bhagavad Gita. He says that to make significant advancement, one must engage in Krishna consciousness with unwavering determination. This is difficult when one uh, stock of once a stock of unmanifested reactions continuously generate as sinful desire that distract one from bhakti, but by acting piously, controlling the senses, one avoids sinful activity and thus does not increase in sinful proclivities. This gradually exhausts one's stock of sins and one can engage in devotional service without distraction. So doing the pious activity itself will lead us to make improvements. So basically coming to the mode of goodness help us to go faster on the path of bhakti. It's not a requirement, but it accelerates our bhakti. So living a good um, uh, life without sin will help us to make progress. Okay, and then what is the evolution of unmanifested sin? Right. So how it is showing papam, sinful reaction. Um, it is coming aprarabdha, unmanifested reaction. From there, kuta, sinful inclination, bija, sinful desire. Okay, so kuta is inclination, sinful inclination. Bija is sinful desire. Okay, and from this inclination, I am generating more prarabdha, and from sinful desire, I am doing the sin. Right. So very beautifully explained diagram, and it shows the difference between bija and kuta. So what is bija?
Bija is like about to
No,
uh,
about, but see here read sinful desire. So bija is going to fructify, but why it's going to fructify? Because it's going to become my desire very soon. And once it becomes a desire, then I'm going to act on that desire, and then it's going to become prarabdha. I will start suffering due to that. Okay, that's so bija is sinful desire, and kuta is which is going to follow the bija is kuta, which is see read it here. What is this?
Sinful
simple
inclination.
inclination.
Inclination, sinful inclination.
Inclination
Okay.
towards
So bija is sinful desire, kuta is sinful inclination. Okay. And then sinful desire is going to lead to the sinful reaction, and inclination is going to manifest for the reaction. Okay, prarabdha. Okay. So here, if you just want to read it, aprarabdha, unmanifest reaction. In this stage, the reaction is completely unmanifest and has no perceptible effect. So I cannot perceive that what's going to happen. No perceptible effect. But kutam is sinful proclivity. In this stage, the reactions evolve into a psychological disposition towards sin. So I'm declaring proclivity. Maybe, even though I'm married, I'm just thinking other women. When I'm looking, oh, they're very beautiful. Oh, they're very like. So slowly my inclination is getting there, right? I'm watching other women slowly and might be going to bar, like, and so I'm not doing anything, but means immediately which will cause the sin, but it is getting there. Okay, says kutam, bijam, sinful desire. In this stage, the sinful proclivity evolves into a specific desire. I want that. I want that woman. who is not my wife, right? So that desire. Proclivity evolves into a specific desire to commit a particular sinful action. And prarabdha is manifest sinful reaction. In this stage, the sinful desire causes one to commit a sinful action. In this case, the man is going and meeting that other woman who is not his wife. So the prarabdha means the sinful action has started. Okay, so that will lead to the misery because sometimes the wife is going to find out sometimes, and then there will be suffering, divorce, all those stuff, right? So this is what is being shown here.
Yeah, picture depicts 5 stages, but side endings were given 4. In between, I think papam is a sinful action,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is
this
under
is sinful. That's the result. Yeah, yeah. Papam is the result. So
action.
the action. Yeah. So the all our sin is divided into four part, right? Yeah. Papam is decomposed into four. Okay. All right. So here is what we already read in 20. This is directly the meaning of 120. It is further explained, like all the meaning word by word, something like that, which we have already read. So I'm skipping it. Okay. Similarly, 21, it is word by word. It is being explained. So I'm skipping it. Um, and bhakti destroys the prarabdha karma. Such a person, by performing any one of the devotional limbs as mentioned above, destroys these prarabdha karma, which have produced this low birth, which prevents him from performing sacrifices. Okay, so it is just explained. But in order to undergo second initiation, one should have taken the Vedic initiation and learned the Vedas from a very young age. But the dog eater has missed it. Right, so it is further like it's going into the detail about the first initiation, second initiation, which I think we don't need to go right now. Okay, so and then we already discussed that how the bhakti destroys prarabdha karma. Okay, so that is how it describes sinful reaction due to bad birth in the form of acquisition of bad qualities and suffering are removed immediately, but the birth itself cannot be changed from one parent to another. So what happens, the suffering is taken away, but if somebody is born in a poor family or with the body of a diseased person, that is still there, right? That cannot be changed, but the bad qualities, right, the bad qualities which is coming due to the bad birth, that is taken away. So this is the other way. So these are things when may get confused. Hey, how the suffering is taken away? That person is still suffering. He's not able to earn. He's still relying on someone else's money to live his life. How that is taken away? So you see the bad quality that person has developed, maybe stealing or lying or being using abusive language. Those things are taken away. The birth is still there. That artifact of the prarabdha will continue for a little bit. Okay. Such a low-born practitioner of bhakti does not perform sacrifice, not because of his lack of qualification, but because he has no faith in them as he is endowed with pure bhakti. One might ask, if practice of bhakti removes suffering, why then do I see devotees suffering? And this we already talked about, that this is given by Krishna. This is not due to the bad karma. Okay, so this was further citation that Krishna is telling in 10:88:88, in Canto 10, 88 chapter 8th verse, that how he is coming and giving those suffering because he's trying to make the devotee much stronger. Okay. Um, but sometimes that suffering is a result of the offense to the Vaishnavas, that we also understood. Okay, and then bhakti destroy the bija, that we talked about how the inclination is taken away, the bad inclination is purified. Okay, and this is how the avidya, this is the cycle which we read every day in the purport of Bhagavad Gita 7.1, which is coming from Srimad Bhagavatam, the 4 verses which we read before. It is depicted in the form of the picture that how the ignorance, so the sinful desire, right, it attacks the sinful desire, and that leads to the sinful action, and then that leads to the unmanifested reaction. And so this is the cycle, right? So this whole cycle is destroyed. And because they're showing how so this picture is basically showing how the avidya is leading to the suffering. right? This is a perpetual cycle. So ignorance will lead to desire, then I'll do the action, then because I have done the action, then that will become the aprarabdha, because I'm going to suffer for it. And then this, but then the same time, that is also leading to more sinful disposition. I want to do more of those, and then desire becoming stronger, and I'm going in this perpetual loop. And as a unmanifest reaction is coming, it is going and fructifying in due course of time into prarabdha, and that is leading to my suffering. Okay, so this is the cycle. This is a cycle of me having that sinful desire, and I'm keep doing it, and and in the process, I'm accumulating the bank balance of aprarabdha. Okay, so just think, I'm accumulating a bank balance of aprarabdha, but once the bank balance has been accumulated, I'm going to get the interest. And this case, the interest is prarabdha, and that is going to leave the suffering. So now from there, okay, that here we talked about how the bhakti get destroyed by bhakti destroys avidya. So this we already talked about, and then further how the Padma Purana, that how is the snake demon. So we already read it. Okay, so we finished it. Quality 2, which is the Shubhada. So first is which quality we talked about. What was the quality we talked about just, and the proof was presented to us here. What it is called in Sanskrit?
Klesaghni.
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 Agni, not Klesa Agni, not Klesha Agni. Klesaghni, Gni.
Klesaghni.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. And then second is Shubhada, how it brings the. So we finished the part 1. We will read the meaning here. We'll see. We'll take maybe 5-10 minutes extra, and we'll try to finish this section also. So uh, Shiva Prabhu or Mrinali Mataji, would you like to read?
Yes, sure.
Okay, Prabhu. Oh, go ahead, Shiva Prabhu.
The translation. Next, the second unique characteristics of Uttama Bhakti, namely its bestowal of Shubha, is discussed. The wise explain that there are 4 types of auspiciousness, Shubha, affection for all living entities, being attractive to all living entities, possession of good qualities, and happiness, as well as other items. So 1.1.28 translation. The first 2 types of Shubha are illustrated in the Padma Purana. He who worships the Lord is pleasing to all living entities, and all the inhabitants of the world, both moving and non-moving, are pleasing to him. Next, translation. Bhakti bestows good qualities and other things, Sadgunadi. One who has unflinching devotion for the personality of Godhead has the Lord and his followers, along with all their good qualities, under his control. But one who is not a devotee of the Lord has only material qualifications that are of little value. He simply pursues temporary material objects motivated by desire. Bhakti bestows happiness. There are 3 types of happiness: from material things, from Brahman realization, and from the Lord. Thus, it is said in Tantra, astounding mystic powers, material enjoyment, eternal happiness in the realization of Brahman, and eternal bliss from service to Lord all appear from Bhakti to Govind. Thus, it also says in Hari Bhakti Shubhodaya, O Lord of the Devatas, I again pray to you that I may have firm devotion to you, that Bhakti is a creeper which bestows Ardha, Dharma, Kama, Moksha, and also the happiness of realization of the Lord. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura's commentary. I pray that I may have Bhakti, the creeper which gives the 4 fruits of endeavor, culminating in liberation, and which also gives the bliss of realization of the Lord, Sukadha, which consequently makes liberation insignificant.
Okay, so here, so it you saw that it started with the 4 characteristic of the auspiciousness, Subda, right? What, how the happiness is coming. The person who's doing, they become affectionate to the other living entity, and that leads to that person becoming attractive to all living entities. So all other living entities start loving this person, right? So the person is developing the compassion and loving everybody, and other people reciprocating with their love. So these 2 things, and then for position of good quality, this person will start developing the good qualities, and the 4th is this person will always be happy, right? And then other item, which is how the good quality is coming, that was further discussed. Okay, and then it is also telling how the person who's doing the bhakti, they get all this astounding mystic power, material enjoyment, all those things are coming like a subservient, right? They are just coming, even though the devotee doesn't want, those things all comes automatically, but they are experiencing the eternal bliss even higher than that. And then it says that liberation becomes insignificant. Liberation is very insignificant compared to the happiness which a devotee is experiencing in their life. So the bhakti is a creeper which bestows artha, dharma, kama, moksha, and also the happiness of realization. So devotee does not need to focus on anything that we know. They just need to do their bhakti. All other things just follow. Okay. So here, um, in further summary, the same verses we talked about word by word. Okay. So subha, like these are the four qualities in English. Jagat parinanam, affection for all jivas. Sarva jagatam anurakta, being attractive. Sad gunadi pradat vam, bestowal of all good quality. And sukha pradatvam, bestowal of happiness. So these are the happiness. So all those things, four characteristic of the happiness we get, right? The practitioner gets. Okay. Um, and then sun gunadi pradat vam is being in 29 was further described, that what is the other thing which is being talked about. So it says that devata constantly dwell with all good qualities, that in that person who has pure bhakti for the Lord, there are no good qualities in the non-devotee, um, who chases after temporary material objects with desire for material pleasure. So devotee never chases after it, but they are in the following verse says that how the sukha pradatvam happens, right? They are getting, even though they are not chasing, they are getting all this bhakti, mukti, like all these things. They appear from the bhakti to Govinda automatically. Okay, and so all three kind of happiness, so benefit everyone and attract everyone, all those things one is getting, and these all references are coming from the Padma Purana. Okay, and then the development of saintly qualities that happens, and these are the things, even all those things are talked in Nectar Devotion, page 9. So Prabhupada is talking. So he's talking in terms like more like a prose, and not like he's not going word by word. So Prabhupada is just talking in summary that what are the what are the benefit one is getting. Okay. So superior happiness. So there are three types of happiness: that which comes from sense gratification, that which comes from liberation and Brahma realization, and that which comes from devotional service. So if you take all the happiness of the world, it can be categorized into these these three categories. So one is, of course, from the sense gratification, which we try to do, and we do get the happiness, right? But then, of course, it comes with a package of suffering. But the happiness, what that's the part it's talking about. Then the second is, of course, Brahman and liberation, Brahman realization, and through that liberation, that's people get. And the one is from the devotional service. So Srila Prabhupada explains, Srila Rupa Goswami has analyzed the different sources of happiness. He has divided happiness into three categories, which are happiness derived from material enjoyment, happiness derived by identifying oneself with the Supreme Brahman, and happiness derived from Krishna consciousness. Of these, the happiness of devotional service is superior. There are two reasons. It is eternal, whereas the others are temporary, and it includes and excels the pleasure found in other types of happiness. So why the third is better? It's not that we are practicing the bhakti, that's the reason it's better, because the material happiness, that's temporary. Even it is telling even the happiness which is becoming oneself with the Supreme Brahman, that is also temporary. Okay. um, so the happiness of devotional service include all others. So conclusion is, only devotional service is all attractive and all beneficial and can develop saintly character and bestow superior happiness. Thus only devotional service truly all auspicious. So we covered quality 1 and quality 2. Remainder quality we will do it on Monday. Any question, thoughts? Are we understanding? Means
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
uh, uh, so it's like the only it's like devotional service or bhakti yoga is like a package. Like once we focus on Krishna, automatically rest of the things will fall in place. Is
Yes,
like
yes,
some.
yes. Yeah. So the first topic, Klesaghni, talks about how it burns it. And then within the process state, oh, I am practicing bhakti, but it's not burning because I don't see its burnings. For that, there was analysis that if somebody is taking the bad birth, then the the parentage cannot be changed, the body cannot be changed, but the bad habit which I had developed by having born in a bad, not very conducive family, those will be getting purified. So that person lose, and that we can observe, right? A lot of people who were drunkard because they were born in a, or they were drug addicts, right? Prabhupada came to preach those people because they were not born in a very good family or anything like that. They all became purified. Okay, and so getting rid of the bad birth, that takes time, because in due course of time that also get fixed, because then the people's context changes. Okay, so we talked about that, and then we also talked about how sometimes the suffering which we are seeing in devotee, that is not by the Maya Devi, that sometimes is given by Krishna. And the third category was that suffering may happen due to our offense to the Vaishnavas. Okay, so these were the things which we talked about the Kleshaghni. Okay, and then in Shubda, we talked about the four different quality of the Shubda. Then one first start liking all the people, all and everybody, and become compassionate, and they interact very nicely with them. What happens, then all the other people who are being interacted, they become very favorable to the devotee, and they start really liking him, right? So these two effects. The third one happen is the good quality, all the good qualities are coming into that person, and that's the reason why this person becomes very attractive to other people. We see when we meet sannyasi or some exalted devotee, we get attracted automatically to them, that we can see. Okay, we gravitate towards them. And then the fourth is they are usually very happy. And then there were citation about that, how does that happen, and then how bhakti is better than the and then even it talks about the three different categories of happiness. The first category was material happiness, the second category of happiness was coming from the liberation, and the third category is from the devotional service. And it says the devotional service happiness coming from the devotional service is better. Why? Because the other two are temporary. Okay, so this was the net what we talked about. Any questions before we end the class today? Yes, Siva Prabhu.
Prabhu, like two questions. First one is like in one place where Krishna says when one is following the pure bhakti, so I will take away his,
Mhm,
you know,
mhm,
uh, his wealth and all he plays. And
mhm,
second thing, um, now we are talking about for pure bhakti bestowing of all auspiciousness,
mhm, mhm,
right? So it's not like little contradictory here, right? So like one way it is saying, so when we see like okay, if we are progressing materially, so does
mhm.
it mean like we are not doing proper bhakti? Sometimes feel like that, Prabhu. Or should we see like as we see in Prabhupada example also, like one at one point of time Prabhupada is not without any money, but still he continued, and but later like he able to build one or a temple. So it's like,
Mhm.
so when we are sincere and continue even when the wealth is removed, then all the auspiciousness will come. Like is it a, is it also a cycle process, Prabhu? Like those 2 points when we think.
Yeah, Prabhu. So see, so if I understood your question, you are saying that on one spectrum, um, if somebody is rich, right, um, and on the other spectrum is somebody is poor, and you're giving the example how Prabhupada didn't have any money, but then he ended up building the 108 temples, right? So what from this, what we can learn, that what we have is a gift from Krishna, whether I have it or not. But if Krishna wants, it will happen, irrespective. In the case of Prabhupada, he didn't have it personally, but then his devotee were able to come together and they were able to build, and the things one led to the other. A lot of people they became favorable, the rich people, and they helped Prabhupada, and it happened. So Prabhupada need not be rich, right? Because he was the bhakt of Krishna, everything happened by the Krishna's will. On the other side, even if I am rich and If I'm not performing bhakti, of course I'll be in material thing. But a devotee can be rich because Krishna provides all auspiciousness. And there is a very nice story in one of the Puranas. We say that Mother Parvati, somebody who's telling that why your devotees are so poor. He said, no, they are not poor. And then he said that then the Devi says to her husband, because I don't know, it's a Parvati or somebody else, he says to her husband that you see these two people, they are so rich. And then the Lord says that, okay, let me show it to you. So as they were walking, they see the lot of gold on the road, and this husband says, oh, why we are seeing this gold? Hey, cover it, otherwise people will come and they will become greedy, and we also become greedy, and they don't care about the gold. They cover it and they keep walking. And the Lord smiles to his wife and says that, see, my devotees are not poor, they just don't want it. Okay, so devotee, even though Krishna, if to a sincere devotee, Krishna will make them rich, because he knows that um, even if they get the money, they are going to utilize the money not for their sense gratification, but for the bigger causes of the universe, of the world, right? So they know how to do the yukta vairagya. So, so having the money itself is not a bad thing. How we utilize the money, what is our inclination, that's the thing. And 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 and, and many devotees of the Lord, they are very rich. They're very rich. Okay, so it's not that all the devotees are poor.
Yeah, so when if we are getting more money, if we are becoming more wealthy, we no need to think that okay, we are not performing proper bhakti, right? So as
No,
long as
no,
we are doing
yeah,
right
yes,
service.
yes, yes. Definitely. It's not that, oh, if I'm getting money, then Krishna is giving me the money so that I can get attracted to it. Right? As long, because see, if I'm getting attracted, then Krishna knows. But a lot of devotees, they are rich, and you see how much donation some of the devotees make at
Yeah,
the temple, right? So,
yes.
and they don't want to have those money. They think that's Krishna's money, and they will offer it to Krishna. Yeah. In
Thank
fact,
you, sir.
that's a good test. That's a good test that these devotees are not getting attracted by the money. It's a good test, right? Krishna is giving. Maybe Krishna is giving it as a test. It can happen. Krishna is giving that money also as a test. Let's see whether this person is getting attracted to those or not, right?
This can be in both ways, like
It can
either
go both
taking
ways.
away money
Yes,
or giving. Yes, sir.
yes. Krishna can do both sides. So taking away the money is happens to the more exalted devotee, because that is very tough. If somebody is rich and suddenly they lose everything, that's very painful. And still that devotee able to perform his or her devotional duty and doing it even with more rigor is a proof that that person is totally firmed up. So Krishna doesn't give that test to everybody initially, but eventually it may come in the devotee's life if Krishna wants to make them stronger.
Prabhu,
Actually,
one more. Sorry. Yes, Mataji, please.
in Bhagavad Gita, it is written, uh, God presents all the wealth so that he's testing whether he is serving, right? Is it really for serving? That the so being rich is really very tough. That is what it is said. Like all the riches is not. It's a testing whether he is doing it for self gratification or the service what it is meant for.
Yes, Mataji.
Uh, Prabhu, one
All right.
last question.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Uh, that on the first topic that we saw, last point we were telling like in Padma Purana, one snake demon. So can you
Mhm.
just give a little background, Prabhu? I just thought of checking like is it something any just to note denoting some symbolizing
No,
or
it's just
is it
symbolizing that how the fire, like even the snake demon, right? A snake is like is pretty powerful. How the fire can just burn away all those things, right? So there's this suffering. They act like a snake demon because there seems like they're biting me, and I'm not feeling. I cannot live my life, right? I'm burning, right? But then this big fire comes and it takes away all those demons, right? So that's how. So it just not one or two sins are taken away. So the why that this analogy is being used, that's not one or two sins are taken away, all our sins are burnt. All our
okay?
sins are burnt just like that. Zoop.
Got it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
All
Thank you,
right.
Prabhuji. Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare,
Thank
yeah,
you.
Hare Bol. We'll meet on Monday.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Bol.